hearts worldwide. We're going to learn today how to make the baby nightgown. They look like this when they're finished. And your kit will have two different types of fabric in it. We're going to have a knit fabric that will have your two sleeves and your front and back pieces that look like this. There's two pieces there and two sleeves. You'll also have some ribbing fabric, one longer piece for the neck and two smaller pieces that will be used for the cuffs. So our first step is going to be putting the cuffs on the sleeve. So you want to take your cuff and fold it in half and line it up with the edge of the sleeve. And then we'll take it to the sewing machine. And as you can see, the cuff is slightly smaller than the bottom of the sleeve. We're going to stretch that as we sew it. I'm going to do 1/4 inch seam and gently tug on that as we stitch that seam. So that will kind of ease in that cuff. So we do both sleeves. You can see that it's shaped in like this. So now we're going to take the sleeve and attach it to the front of the nightgown. It's just a small little seam from here to here that's going to attach that sleeve, and we're going to do that on all front and back. So we'll do that seam 4 times. So now we have the sleeve attached to the front piece, and I've done one attached to the back, so we're just going to finish up by attaching the other sleeve to the back as well. There isn't any difference in the front and the back as far as cut. They're both identical, so you don't have to worry about making sure that you're getting front or back. They're both the same. So we sew that seam. Longer piece of ribbing, and we're going to sew it 1/4 inch. Just a 1/4 inch seam just right along the shorter edge. Just like that. And then we're going to open up that seam and fold the neck in half all the way around. And then we need to mark it. We're going to put pins. I'm going to fold this in quarters and mark the quarter marks up. So I put one on that seam, fold it in half, and it's good to use the pins because it holds it in place while you're doing that. We're also going to make these same marks on the nightgown neckline as well. So you're going to do it on the middle of the sleeves, and I like to just fold it in half like this. There's a variety of ways that you can mark it. You can use pins. You can make a little snip right at those marks, or if you have a pen that disappears when you iron on it, you can use that as well. And so you just make a little mark where those quarter marks are on your, like that. So then the next step is to line those marks that we've made both on this and on our nightgown together. And then you're gonna pin them. So that looks like this. When you've got it pinned in, you've matched up your pins and your marks, and then you're ready to sew it. I generally like to start where that seam line was on your ribbing, and that can kind of be the back of your nightgown. Like I said, there is no difference between the front and the back. Again, when you sew on this ribbing, you're going to match the edges and pull gently as you sew it. It's important to have the knit fabric at the bottom. That helps ease the excess fabric in while you're sewing so that you can get that ribbing to fit in. So we go all the way around. So now at this point, it's a good idea if you have a zigzag stitch on your machine to zigzag around that knitting. Also zigzag or serge. If you have a serger, it's great to serge around there and serge around that. Just reinforces it and keeps it from when it's stretched out from those stitches breaking. So now you have it this far. So your next step is going to be taking it and put right sides together, and you're going to sew your side seams. I start at the cuffs, sew all the way down to the end of the hem. So here we've sewn all the way down the nightgown, and then this one has been serged. You don't have to do that step. The part that we want the serging or the zigzag is for where it gets stretched the most. If you don't have that, that's fine. And so then it's finished that way. Then you can serge or zigzag around the bottom of it. And you can turn it inside out. And then you can do a 1-inch hem on the bottom. The hem can be a single stitch, and again, slightly pull it as you're stitching it so that it has some give to it. Or you can use, if your machine, if you have a double needle, you can also use that on the bottom. That's the way this one's been finished. It doesn't require a zigzag or a serging on the other side because it does that automatically. So that's your finished product, and you've got your cute little baby nightgown.